What's up everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna be working on this 2005 Volkswagen Beetle. This car has a 1.8 turbo with an automatic transmission, and I'm gonna be doing a transmission service. First thing I'm gonna do is get it up in the air. I'm gonna remove this plastic. It has 4 bolts, one on each end. I'm gonna remove the bolts, remove the plastic, and then I'm gonna remove this plastic that is here on the side. So once you remove this cover, all you gotta do with this one is just pull it down hard, and you should be able to remove it. Okay, so I got that plastic off. Now this one, all you have to do is pull it down, and there's one bolt on the back holding it. So I'm gonna remove this bolt, and I'm gonna completely take it off. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drain the oil. So there's a drain plug right here, and it looks like it's an Allen. So I'm gonna grab the right size, and I'm gonna start draining the oil. All right, so I just removed the drain plug, and I'm gonna let it drain. I'm gonna use a clean container because I want to see the condition of the oil. I want to see if there's any metal inside, and I also want to measure how much I take out because I'm gonna put the same amount back in. So I'm gonna let it drain, and the next step is gonna be removing the oil pan. Okay, now that I drained most of the fluid, I'm gonna put the plug back on. And I'm gonna start to remove all the bolts around the oil pan. So there's like 8 of them, I believe. There might be more, but last I count, there's only 8 bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and remove them, and I'm gonna remove the oil pan. Okay, now I'm gonna grab my size 10 socket, and I'm just gonna remove all of the bolts. I still gotta break some of them loose. So I'm just gonna break them loose and remove all of them. Okay, so there's my oil pan. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the filter now. So I think there's 3 10mm bolts. So there's one right here, and then on the front. And I think that's gonna be it. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the filter. I just removed the filter, so it's sitting right here. I'm gonna be using a new oil pan, so I'm gonna remove the tube. I think this tube is gonna be to measure the amount of oil when filling it back up. So I'm just gonna put it on the side because most likely I'm gonna have to reuse it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and clean as much as I can. Then I'm gonna install the new filter. Now I'm gonna clean everything underneath. I'm just gonna spray brake cleaner so I can install my filter. And I'm also gonna install my new oil pan with the gasket. Like I mentioned before, I'm gonna be replacing the pan because the other one's damaged. So I already installed my new gasket. I'm gonna reuse the tube. This is for the oil level. And I only have one magnet, so I already cleaned it. And I'm just gonna put it inside the pan. I'm gonna give it another pass around the surface. I'm gonna clean it up, and I'm gonna be installing my oil pan. Now I'm not gonna use anything. I'm gonna install it dry. Usually I put a little bit of grease around the surface, but you don't have to use silicone or grease or anything. It usually goes in dry. If you install it correctly, it's not gonna leak. Now if you use silicone or grease and you torque it incorrectly, most likely it's gonna leak. So make sure you torque it to specs and make sure you install it correctly. Okay, so I'm pretty much ready. I'm gonna go ahead and install my oil pan. I'm gonna torque it in sequence, so I'm gonna look at my diagram. Okay, so there it is. All I gotta do now is add the oil. I'm almost done. Now all I have to do is fill it up. So I'm gonna fill it up through my fill up tube. So this is my fill up tube, and the way you check the level, it has a tube inside as well in here, a plastic tube I showed you guys earlier today. And how you check the level is you remove this bolt right here, you have to fill it up, then you have to turn it on, and as it's running you add the fluid, and then once it starts coming out through the drain plug, then that's when you know it's full. I'm gonna double check that, and if that's the process, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna start off by removing this cap over here. So you gotta be careful because this is plastic and it'll easily break. I mean, I already broke my tube. I'm gonna get another one, but I mean, it's still in there. So here's the cap, and I'm gonna try to get something long enough so I can start filling up from the top. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. I'm gonna start to fill up the transmission with fluid, and before I do, I'm gonna give you guys an advice. Every time I change the oil on the transmission, I always buy the original stuff. So this is a turbocharged vehicle, and these cars, they don't have the best reputation. I believe most cars are good cars if you take care of them and if you use the right stuff. So I'm pretty sure this is synthetic stuff, and the car is turbo, so it's gonna run a little hotter. and the best way to take care of the transmission is using the right stuff. So I'm not gonna go to AutoZone or O'Reilly's and have them guess on what fluid they recommend. I'm just gonna go straight to the dealer and get the stuff that it's made for the tranny. So that way I guarantee more life on my transmission. Okay, so what I did is I'm gonna use this funnel and I put a silicone hose. I'm gonna start filling it up. I think I'm gonna add like 3 quarts of oil. Then I gotta turn the car on. I gotta let it idle for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna make sure I'm at 115 degrees. Then I'm gonna remove the drain plug and I'm gonna check the level with a tube that is inside the oil pan, and that's how you check the oil level. Make sure you don't let the car get to regular operating temperature, because at that point it's gonna be like 180, maybe 200 degrees, and the fluid might expand and you might not get the right level. I'm just gonna go ahead and add 2 quarts of oil and then let it idle. I just added my 2 quarts of oil. Maybe I should add more, but I'm gonna leave it at 2 for now. And I'm gonna be checking the temperature with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the car on, and I'm gonna point this at the transmission oil pan, and I'm gonna be checking the temperature. When I get to 110 degrees, that's when I'm gonna open up the drain plug and I'm just gonna check the level. Okay, so I'm gonna let it idle, and then once I get to 110, see right now it's at 94. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the drain. I'm gonna go ahead and open the drain, and I'm just gonna fill it up till it starts dripping. Okay, so it just started dripping right now after 4 quarts of oil. So I think I'm gonna put the drain plug back on and I'm gonna drive it, and then I'm gonna check it again after I drive it for a minute. Okay, I'm almost done. All I gotta do is throw those plastics back on, drive the car, make sure everything's good, and that's it. But before I do that, I'm gonna take a look at the oil pan, and I'm just gonna make sure that the gasket is not leaking and it looks pretty dry all around. All right, so it looks good. And then on the drain plug, I just gotta clean the little bit of oil that dripped when I put the drain plug back on. So I'm just gonna wipe that off, drive the car, and make sure everything's good. Okay, so I just installed my plastics. Like I said before, now I gotta take it outside, drive it, make sure everything's good, make sure nothing leaks. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that in a minute, but that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.